I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to AfterBuzz's Real Housewives of New York City after show. I'm your host, Hollywood Leann, and I have my family with me as always, my girl, Allie.
Hello, excited to be here.
Thanks for coming back. I know we're crazy. And you're part of the family now.
I love it.
I got my girl, my partner in crime, Chelsea Stark-Jones.
Hi, I am so sad I missed last week, but this episode is great, so I'm happy to be back.
Yes, you're here to spill all the tea. Chelsea Stark has some fabulous news and gossip for us later that you want to tune in for. It has to do with the show. It has to do with what's happening in real time. It's going to be fabulous, and always bringing the other perspective, the voice of reason, Mr. Randomly Ronnie Jr.
Hi, everybody. You all look wonderful, and it's been an interesting week, so I guess we're going to enjoy each other. And, it's nice to have this show because it is an escape, and I just can't wait to have, all of us together as a panel. We're a good team. I will say that. We're a very good team.
Yes.
We are.
I found my light. Go to the light. Welcome to the after show, New York City. You guys, what a crazy episode. It's called Hurricane Leah, and she did come through, girl. She came through. I've been seeing a lot of reactions on Twitter, a lot of negative reactions, and it's kind of bumming me out, and it's confusing me because, these ladies are known for the antics, they're known for the drinking, and all of a sudden, we're all Mother Teresa. So we're going to talk about it. But overall, fabulous episode. I really enjoyed it. What did you think about the episode, Allie?
I totally agree. It was a great episode, another great episode. And I was also on Twitter, right before I got on here, just seeing some of the reviews. And I was also surprised at some of the hate Leah was getting. But overall, there were some pretty funny memes. I was laughing. I mean, she went 0 to 100 real quick, and it was frightening at times. But like you said, this is nothing new. We've seen it from all the other girls. So I thought it was hilarious. I don't know. I enjoyed kind of seeing the more vulnerable side of her too, and her opening up about her insecurities and all of that. And I'm sure we'll touch on it. But yeah, overall, great episode.
Yes. Chelsea, what did you think about it? Because I know you liked my tweet earlier at Hollywood Leann on Twitter if you want to join. And it was basically saying, I don't understand what's happening. Why is everybody tripping?
Yeah, I don't get it. It's really fascinating. I know we'll dig into the hypocrisy of it all, but she was having fun amongst girlfriends in a pretty private setting. And homegirl Sonja was at this rich guy's house a couple weeks ago acting a damn fool. So I don't know why Leah can't have fun and these women are judging her for it. I think the hypocrisy runs so deep. It's a double standard. Maybe there's some jealousy involved. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I thought it was a great episode. And I enjoyed seeing her. She's a funny drunk. I'm sorry, she's funny.
Exactly. I'm from Vegas, and I've been a bartender in a nightclub before. I have seen ugly drunks. I have seen the worst of the worst, and this was nothing. We kept it light and fun. Ronnie, what did you think?
I like when they go to these locations, it gets to usher you into their world, last year I actually went to Newport, Rhode Island for a wedding. It was on the Rosecliff Mansion. Yeah, it was really cool. I actually looked it up on Google. It was about 11 minutes from where they were staying at Castle Hill Inn. And it is that posh area. It really is. The location that we were at was where they filmed The Great Gatsby years ago. So it is really that eloquent space. So I guess what Leah was doing was speaking to, don't take yourself too seriously. However, love Leah. She's great, but I don't know. I wasn't 100% on board with too much of those antics. Not in a judgy way, but also she didn't give me life, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk about it. I am wearing my Shy Beanie Angel shirt. So make sure to check out the link in the bio for their store. It's the Chicago Bean, but with the mask. It's spreading awareness. It's a very good cause. Thank you, Javi, for my shirt. We open up with what Ronnie said. We're all packing. We're going to Newport. I was going to ask if anyone's been to Newport. Now we know Ronnie has. Gals, have you guys been?
No, but I
wanna
want
go.
to. I looked up where they stayed, and it's about $1,000 a night. So don't know if I'll be going there anytime
Yeah.
soon. But
We'll stay on the outskirts. It's fine.
yeah.
I've been to the Hamptons. Obviously, I love New York. I, resided there for a hot second. Couldn't handle it, left. But never been to Rhode Island, but I've been to GB. I've been to Great Barrington. I've been to where Dorinda lives. I've been in that town. I've talked to the locals about Dorinda. We're going to get into Dorinda, but like I said, we're driving there. We're all driving there. And Dorinda is already there at the front desk talking about Richard. I'm like, oh my God. But you guys, I don't know. Like I was kind of thinking about Dorinda a lot lately over the days, and I know she's acting crazy. I'm having a change of heart a little bit. I'm just starting to just feel for her a little bit because I've been putting stuff into perspective, and I just don't know what I would do if I lost my spouse. I think I would probably talk about it for 100 years. But she doesn't get to go psycho on people, so we will talk about that. What do we think about the beginning of this episode? Before we get into Leah's madness, we're driving to Newport, and Ramona's organizing this whole trip. I had a feeling from the beginning this was not going to turn out good. Chelsea, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a Ramona scheduled trip doesn't seem like it would turn out well whatsoever. I thought, the drive up looked fine. They're in that nice little party bus type thing. Actually, it didn't look fun. Like, it was like the most boring couple hours I could imagine. Like, I think Leah even said, like, you guys are boring. Like, let's have some fun. Let's spice it up a little bit. And then when Leah asked to invite her sister, I didn't particularly see that big of an issue with it. I think it was that she asked so last minute, as opposed to asking in general, because I mean, Elise is there. She's not really anybody's friend except for Ramona's. And other franchises, Portia brings her sister along on some cast trips. So like to have a sibling or a friend or whatever come along is not that big of a deal. But to do it last minute, it did feel like, I don't know if you guys remember, I think Ramona said it, like when you're younger and you like want to ask your mom for like if a friend could sleep over and you do it right in front of the friends so like your mom can't say no, like that's what it felt like. So like Leah kind of
Yeah.
tried to play a little trick on her, and it ultimately worked. I don't know. So
Ronnie, do you think there's like an etiquette thing happening back east? Obviously, there is with the Countess, but I mean, I feel like inviting someone on the trip is a little weird. If you're not going to run it by everybody, like when the idea comes to mind, what do you think about this?
I guess regardless of location, yes, the etiquette thing is more prominent in this case because it is Newport, Rhode Island. But even if it was, just going upstate New York for apple picking, like it just is the idea that not only are you doing it in a weird position and putting Ramon on the spot, that's one, but two, you're also doing it as the new cast member. I think there's like you have to gain some access to the group first. You're not necessarily that close with them. So I think Chelsea made a great example. Like it wasn't bad. Yeah, bring anyone along. I think that's actually the more the merrier. That part I do agree with, but it was done in a way that put Ramona on the spot. Ramona's already not the nicest lady. Like I love the way Leah says every week, she's a monster, but she's our monster. So it just should have been done a different way. And I do think like everyone would have been cool about it, and it would have made Ramona look bad if she were to say no. She would have had to like give her reasons why. So it was tough. I will say, you guys, I rewatched episodes of High Society with Tinsley this week. I'm up to episode 6. I watched it when it originally was on the CW, but it did speak to perspective. I really start to wonder about Dorinda going back, as far as what she had against Tinsley. Do we think that maybe, and I know they didn't cover this on this episode, but do we think that Dorinda at some point in her life always was wanting to be ushered into the life that Tinsley had? Because when I was watching High Society, like Tinsley, there's an episode where she goes to Newport, Rhode Island. There's an episode where we see Dale in Newport. I don't know. I guess that's where the jealousy might come from. So interesting perspective, and that's what I did this week is I rewatched those episodes. Yeah.
Well, to reply to that, Dorinda did say that those allegations were ridiculous about the jealousy thing. Allie, what do you think about the whole invading of the friend group thing because you are new to the group. We should get to know you as much as possible. And then the more the merrier, your family, we get to see another side of you. But did you think it was a little early?
That's a good point. Ronnie, when you said that, I hadn't considered that yet. That, oh yeah, she is still new. It felt a little bit, yeah, like you kind of have to earn your place before you can just start inviting people along. So that's a really good point, and I think I do agree with it. And like Chelsea said, I totally think it was fine that she wanted her sister. We saw that Leah had a tough week prior to this girls' trip. She already didn't really want to go on it. Her sister and her are very close. So I get that whole thing. And I think it's easy for us to all be like, let her sister come. Like, it's fine. Who cares? But I'm sure we all have been in a position where we've planned trips and we've tried to coordinate certain events. And it is frustrating when last minute something changes. And she did it last minute. And I think Leah did it in front of the girls because she is a little bit intimidated by Ramona and she kind of knew it would put her in that place of like, she can't say no. So yeah, it's interesting to see all the different perspectives. Overall, I thought it wasn't a big deal, but I get it. I get why Ramona was upset.
Yes. Guys, we're not live right now. So if you're watching, make sure to leave a comment that you're watching. We'll shout you out. We're having some technical issues with YouTube, but we stand by you. Chelsea, do you want to add something?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to jump in, she only wanted her sister to come for one night, not like for the whole trip, right? Like just for one dinner. And so it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, but I understand, like, yeah, you are planning something, like it may make it difficult to add to the reservation or whatever. So I get it. But like, I was like Ramona,
They're
but she
pulling
definitely
out
did
the
it.
etiquette book when they want, when it's convenient.
Yeah. And she definitely did it in front of all the girls so Ramona couldn't say no. She knew what she was doing because she also started buttering Ramona up prior to her asking, saying how young she looked.
It's like you're 25. Yeah.
So like Leah, she's playing the game. Like I respect that though.
Yeah.
I would have just told my sister, don't come. They're being weird. And Ramona will make everything in your life miserable if you come.
Same.
Before we get really into, you know, the nitty gritty, we're going to talk about, you know, Sonja being horny and Leah going to Dorinda and everything. We're going to get into all of that. But I just want to say this. Make sure you're following It's Bravo Bitch podcast, my show here at AfterBuzz TV, because I was reporting before this season came out that Leah is crazy and she's being crazy. You know why? She's a certain type of crazy, and it's called boy crazy, but not in the Sheena Rules kind of way. More in the way of like, why didn't you respond to my text? What are you doing? Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. You know, she was set up to kind of talk to Michael Che from Saturday Night Live. He's a really cute guy, very funny. You know, and they were just texting. I saw all the texts. She was very aggressive, you know, texting several times a day. Hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, if someone doesn't respond to you, it's because they're busy and eventually they will get back to you. But when the blue bubbles are like this and it's just like one word answers, he's not feeling you. She went ham on him and he was like, girl, you're crazy. So I tweeted her and I said, well, Michael Che said, hell no. And Leah responded, yeah, but Andy Cohen said, hell yes.
Yes, get that Andy Cohen check, honey.
What do you guys think about this perspective of Leah being like an undercover crazy white girl over boys not texting her?
Wow.
I can relate. That's maybe one of my biggest pet peeves. Like I understand when you're busy, but when you're not busy, and I know you're not busy because you're posting stuff on social media and you're just not getting back to me, like that infuriates me to a T. Like, so I understand. I mean, but I would hate to be the girl that's all the blue bubbles and not one, you know? So you kind of have to like play, you have to know how to play your crazy. You can't do it all at once. You know,
you can't show you're crazy. Like we're all crazy. I'm Latin. Y'all know I'm crazy. Like I will come to your house if you don't answer the phone. I will turn on the location. Like I am crazy. But you can't let them know that right away. It's got
you gotta be incognito with it. Yeah, like very slick with it. You know, and that takes years of practice, by the way.
Exactly. Ronnie, did you want to add anything to the text thing?
No, but I love the way Chelsea said, Leah knows what she's doing. She's playing the game. Now, while we as fans don't like when anyone pre-edits themselves, I think she's not necessarily doing that, but she is very aware. The first couple episodes we saw her while she was not drinking, every sentence that came from here to tomorrow was, oh, and this is how I got my clothing line. And now I think she's doing this thing where she's realizing they're going to the most etiquette driven space, one of them, and her podcast is in proper etiquette. And I think she's very aware of those optics in a good way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Obviously, like I said from the beginning, if you overly edit, we don't like that. But if you kind of use what you have, mix and mingle, and like make it work for your advantage, I mean, kudos to you, So that part of Leah I really do enjoy and have no problem with. And yeah, the Michael Che thing, she may have been laying it on because she knew what it would create. So that was a great report, because I hadn't known the Michael Che stuff until I asked Leanne, and Leanne gave me the full get down. So it's cool.
Yeah. So make sure to follow the podcast if you want that. But Dorinda was the voice of reason this episode. You guys, I always say this on all of my after shows and on all the shows that I contribute to or guest on or everything you want to say, you gotta do both sides. You can't just come in and be like, this is my favorite, F everybody else, because they're all human. They all mess up. You got to hold everybody accountable. So that's why here at AfterBuzz TV, we're going to play both sides. And I'm going to say Dorinda was the voice of reason this episode. She's like, let her come. Who cares? Like, what's wrong with everybody? And shout out to Dorinda for taking a little disco nap before the afternoon dinner, because that is so me. That is so my personal aesthetic. Like, baby boy needs a nap before we go party tonight. It's called being in your 30s. Leah comes to Tinsley and she's ready to go. She's ready to party. And, Leah was pre-gaming during this little Dorinda nap. So she goes to Tinsley. Tinsley's like, all right, she's already on like level 60. Let's see what's going to happen with tonight. As we see, she is ready to party and get down with the best of them. My favorite part was when she walked into Dorinda's room and she's like, it smells like a Dorinda in here. What did you guys think about the girls gathering? Giovanni, and Luann thinking, what is up with this? Tinsley, why are you having a pillow? You're such a child. I'm like, y'all are so mean to Tinsley. What did you guys think about that little part?
I thought the exact same. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Allie.
I was just going to say about the pillow. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, who cares? I have friends that are like that, who have some back issues or something, and they like their certain type of pillow. They gang up on Tinsley. Going back to Dorinda, though, I was happy to see the old Dorinda back. I think she had a couple of hard weeks there, but she got her anger out or something. I don't know, but she was the opposite of a bully this week. She was on Leah and Tinsley's side and was sticking up for her and being just a good girlfriend. So I was happy to see that.
The pillow thing.
The pillow, and then Dorinda's kind of resurrection to kind of being the voice of reason. Sorry, I threw a lot at you guys.
No, it's okay. The pillow thing was kind of like annoying, and I did appreciate Tinsley kind of like snapping back right away and not like letting them like tease her. And then Luann was like, okay, it was a joke, like no big deal or whatever. And then as for Dorinda, I will say, I mean, at the top of the episode, Leanne, you were saying how you kind of feel more for her, and it wasn't that I never felt for her in any regards. Like, I understand, like, losing a spouse. Like, I don't understand because I never lost a spouse, but I could only imagine how difficult that is. And so I wanted to be empathetic for Dorinda, but her, like, lashing out at Tinsley for, like, really, like, little small things and how big she made it made me not feel bad for her, if that makes any sense. So I did appreciate this episode. I know last week at the spa, they kind of squashed it in a sense. And just said, we're going to agree to like move on and just coexist with one another. So like now that they've actually done that, we could actually really appreciate Dorinda and her being open with us about what she's going through with the loss of and dealing with all that stuff. So I appreciate, and I feel bad for her, and I've always felt bad for her, but it's just been clouded with
a lot of other things.
The Tinsley stuff. So it just, it was foggy. So now it's clear, and and I can appreciate her
it's
being
still foggy,
open
girl.
with us. Yeah.
It's still fogged up.
Yeah.
Ronnie, what did you think of Dorinda kind of coming back and being the voice of reason? And what do you think about Sonja saying, this air is making me horny? Let's get our mojo back.
well, she was eating oysters, which I eat a lot of oysters, and it does make you quite horny. I don't think that's a myth. I'm an oyster eater, and therefore I become horny. It's part of life, I guess. Dorinda as the voice of reason is really interesting, and I don't know that I saw that, but I'm glad she's getting a bit of resolve. I think it's interesting, and I was actually thinking about where you're at in your life. You know, when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, you want to have the world. When we saw her back in her place, and she's referencing all these richer memories, I just kind of feel like it's almost not worth it. Like, sell the property. You know, it was a different lifestyle. Like, if it's putting that much burden on you that you are picking on someone else, that's a bad thing. I don't usually fight for Tinsley, and maybe I'm doing it a little bit more because I did rewatch High Society, and it did like open me up to all these great Tinsley memories. But either way, like, you just have to, like, you know, all roads lead to Rome. And is it even worth it? Yes, I understand property value, et cetera, but is it worth it when you literally lose all control? And by the way, who knows where she's at in her life? I know we'll get to that later, but she did enjoy the kiss of a woman. So maybe there's some other inner workings, because it was kiss number 1, and that kiss number 2 she enjoyed. Dorinda's funny. I don't always love her, but I was okay with her this episode. But I don't know if I would call her like the voice of reason. I'm just glad she wasn't so high strung, because you know what? I didn't want to watch a high strung Dorinda this week. Nope, no, I didn't.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, AfterBuzzers, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I just want to prepare you guys. Get ready to buckle up your seats, because there's going to be a division that's going to be happening down the cast. It happens in all the franchises, and I'm seeing it on Twitter. I know what this is going to end up being by the end of the week, and by the time we come back to you guys next Friday. It's going to be either Team Ramona or Team Leah, because this hurricane blew through town, and someone has to be held accountable. I don't know, you guys. This is what really pissed me off. Ramona just started talking shit immediately. Girl, didn't you shit your pants in Colombia last year? Exactly. So I didn't like that. Luann was in mood. She was the only one at the table, ignoring everyone and focusing on the food. Lobster! I want to go to a clam bake, you guys. Clam bakes are so. I did one in the Hamptons, and it's amazing.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so fabulous. We all have to go and pretend to be rich white women from New York. What did you guys think about this table thing? I feel like Ramona started immediately before we even got to the table with the whole, oh, this drink, you know, her muddled drink, her vodka soda with mint. It just wasn't enough for the girls. To play devil's advocate, Ramona did say, okay, it's 1 shot of vodka, a shitload of club soda, right there. Like, that's maybe it was too weak. But did she need 2 extra shots, Ronnie?
No, and as I said, my scorecard of Leah wasn't the highest this episode. I like Leah a lot. I don't know that she's as intriguing to me, because I live in New York. I'm from California, but I live in New York. So, like, I see a lot of people that are very much like Leah. So her personality is not that much more extravagantly different, but I think it plays well on TV. Now, the parts I give her tons of points are, she is making it happen. When Chelsea said that was the biggest light bulb, that she is playing the game. She's doing it well. Again, for you to go to a place that's so etiquette driven, and your podcast is called Improper Etiquette, in fact, I think I tweeted this, that I think her first season shouldn't have been fight like a butterfly, sting like a bitch. It should have been something along the lines of improper etiquette. Like, that would have been a really smart idea. And if she wants a couple extra drinks, it ain't going to bother me, but this is our Ramona, this is our monster, and it was all right on track, right on brand, so I didn't have a problem with it. I did have a problem with Leah standing behind Ramona, and did she touch her hair? Because that, to me, was no good. I wasn't a fan of that at all.
Yeah, she got a little physical later. It was kind of weird. It was that borderline, like, okay, girl, you need to really relax now, because I'm going to whoop your ass if you keep touching me. Chelsea, what did you think about... you know, the kind of lightheartedness before it really started, you know, like Ramona's like giving everyone tiaras and crowns, and Luann's like, oh my God, this is like Giovanni. Sonja's like, that's enough Giovanni for tonight.
I didn't really understand the purpose of the crowns. Like, we're too old for that. Not to be rude in any type of way, but I don't want to be wearing a starfish tiara a nice dinner. But I mean, whatever, aesthetic. And then yeah, I thought it was nice, and I don't blame Leah for wanting an extra shot in her drink, a shot or two in her drink. Because if it's light, if it's just a bunch of club soda and one shot of vodka, like what am I drinking? Like that's not like no, thank you. So I don't blame her for that. Like let her have her
Do you
drink
think
and
she should have
probably
paced herself though?
well, that's what I was gonna say. She was probably already really drunk as is. So like it was probably like she was drinking water. So like she needed
Oh
those
yeah.
shots to like
Makes
actually
sense.
feel, or taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
like once you're at like drink 6 or 7, like they all just start tasting like water.
Do you
That's
guys
true. That is
Mhm.
so true.
do you guys know who I think I thought of a lot this episode? Surprisingly, I felt like I wanted Carol back for some reason. This particular trip, I feel like Carol was very assertive. Carol was somebody who I enjoyed when she was on the show. When she left, I actually didn't really miss her. But as the seasons go, I miss what she brings to the table. I miss her opinions, and I felt like having her there would have been maybe what Elise was trying to do.
Mm.
I don't know, something. I just know that something spoke to me. And by the way, it wasn't, oh, I need Bethany back. It was something was saying, I want Heather back or I want Carol back. Like something needed to, no for Heather. Oh, really? I loved Heather. Okay. Okay.
Holla!
I think what
Ema.
you're saying, Ronnie, is that we needed like a character that's a little bit straight,
Yeah,
like
I
that's
think
not as
so.
like goofy. It's someone that could kind of offset the crazy a little bit
I think
because
so.
they're all nuts. So it's
Yeah.
like
I
it
thought I thought Luann would step up and talk, and she didn't, which was a little odd. I need more Luann, but yeah, Carol.
You guys, I've been hearing about Carol a lot lately. People have been talking about maybe missing her, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. People are saying like the cast with Carol and Heather and Aviva, those were like the best
Mm.
New York years. I don't know how I feel about that. Just because New York has evolved so much for such a long time, it's been a different show at all sorts of points. So it's really interesting. Allie, what did you think um about Ramona immediately mothering Leah? As a
Yeah.
drunk person, that's a bad recipe when you start telling me what to do. What did you
Yeah.
think?
I totally agree with Chelsea on the whole extra shot thing, first of all. Um, she's a grown woman, okay? Like, she does not need people mothering her, telling her what to do. I think if Ramona wanted to maybe help her, if she was actually telling, Leah not to have the extra shot because she genuinely cared about her well being and didn't want her to get sick or something, she could have been more like, hey, get her a water with that too. Or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, pulled a good
Or like
friend.
a regular vodka soda, not the one with the shitload of club soda or something, just like a
Exactly.
regular drink or
Instead
something.
of like giving her side eye and being like, wow, you're asking for two, and then immediately jumping into accusations that she's an alcoholic, she just handled that so poorly. I don't blame Leah for getting mad. It was, yeah, I mean, it was a shit show. I think Ramona handled it very, very poorly. But when it comes to like Team Leah or Team Ramona, I can't choose because you kind of have to have both of them. And I think I loved seeing both of them this episode because it was like you kind of would hear Ramona and you'd be like, well, that makes sense. And then you would see Leah and you'd be like, well, that makes sense. And it was really hard at times. But overall,
Kind of. I kept
yeah,
thinking about Ramona going, I don't think so, girl. You shit your pants in Colombia last year. Stop acting like Mother Teresa.
yeah.
I don't get it. I look over, Dorinda and Ramona are kissing. Everyone's drunk at the table. Sonia was all about the fight. And then as soon as the lobster came out, she was all about the lobster, which
Yeah.
I don't blame her for. You know, Leah is so drunk, she kicks the
Funny.
camera at one point.
That's funny.
Ramona's
It's
like,
great.
I'm going to the bathroom. I can't. It feels like all hell is breaking loose at this moment. She's making fun of the way she talks. She gets up and rips the crown out of her head. She's rolling around on the floor. It's a lot. It's a lot. I did see some comments on Twitter that people were saying that she might have been embellishing this for comedic purposes. I want your opinions on this. Did you think that this was a little over exaggerant, or was it like, no, that was pretty much a drunk person, Allie?
Oh, I thought it was a little bit embellished myself. Maybe it wasn't. We don't know. We weren't her. We know she was drunk for sure. But there was just moments where I was like, all right, like no one acts like that. I mean, it was just a lot. It was extra. The somersaults and the cartwheels and the drapes, and it was just a lot. I don't know. I don't even think I would have acted that way like my freshman year of college. I mean, maybe, we've all had our moments, but it was a lot. So I do think it was a little over the top. But I mean, it worked, I guess. But yeah, it was a little
The
extra.
somersaults.
So,
She was like
oh
doing
my God.
backflips and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? My favorite part was when
Dorinda.
Luann was like, I would never do that. Luann, why would you even say that? You know the montage is coming. There you go, the shot in the bushes. What did you think, Chelsea?
I didn't think it was embellished whatsoever. I mean, we saw her a couple weeks ago in the Hamptons swinging around tiki torches, so like her trying to pull down drapes isn't that big of a stretch. And I mean, I don't know if I'm and I mean, also it speaks to why she hasn't drank in so many years, because she does get that crazy. And I think Dorinda mentioned like she isn't used to drinking, so maybe 2 or 3 glasses really does her in, and she probably had more than that. So so it's like she's not used to drinking excessively, and so that excessive behavior is erratic. But then like also the thing that really put her over the edge was Ramona trying to tell her that her sister can't come anymore. And that's where I think see, that was the issue. Like Ramona, you already said yes. You can't flip flop and say no again. And then on top of that, like you see how she's acting. Like it's like poking a bear. Like what in what world do you think you could tell her that as she's drunk as hell and think she's gonna be like, okay, yeah, sure. Like no. Like so like I put a lot of the blame on Ramona in that instance. Like if wait till tomorrow morning. Wait, like, or don't even do it at all because you already said yes. Like, so you can't really backtrack on that. So I thought Leah was great. I've done similar things before.
I thought it was beautiful the way they set it up with the white and the walkway towards the table. I'm like, this is some fancy shit. I know it's dark out here, but and we're on TV, so we need all these lights, but kudos to the prop designer. This was some nice ass shit. Ronnie, did you think it was embellished, or do you think this bitch is drunk?
Well, it had to have been embellished a little. And the reason I say that is, what is the golden rule? If you're rich, you don't say you're rich. If you're crazy, you don't say you're crazy. She's been telling the world via the show that she's crazy. So it makes me think that a little bit of it was put on, simply put. But yeah, you know why? Because I don't even think like my 29-year-old sister acts that nutty if she were to drink. And I also wouldn't at age 37 act that nutty. So I felt like it was a little put on. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do
we watched the cast of
point.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Chelsea. No,
Like,
I was just gonna say she hasn't drank in so long. Maybe that does have something to do with it. You don't know what you can handle anymore.
Y'all, like I would give you a little story. Homegirl did a 30-day whole 30 for 30 days. Then went to Cabo for a bachelorette party, had a couple tequila drinks. Homegirl was not good. I was not good at all. Like I was outrageous. So if this girl hasn't drank in 7 years, like I could only imagine. Like no, I completely like maybe it was a little. Like, I don't even think it was exaggerated. I have been there.
I love that.
I have been there. I relate. And my girlfriend can tell you.
The worst is what Dorinda says the next day. We've all waken up with that guilt. We've all waken up with that fear of like, what did I say? What did I do? Oh my God. Elise was like, I wasn't drinking, so I'm fine. I'm like, you know what? Calm down. Calm down. But Elise went to go hold everybody accountable. She's like, Ramona, you should have said no the first time. And then when you messed up was resending the invitation. You shouldn't have done that. It took her over the edge. And Ramona's like, all right, you're right. All right. Then Elise goes into some fabulous what imitation of Leah. It was so freaking funny. It was on point in the car.
Wasn't it Dorinda? I thought she was imitating Dorinda.
No, she was imitating Tinsley. I mean, Leah, wasn't she?
And then
no, because she was attacking. She was saying like Tinsley, like she was making fun of Tinsley in her impersonation. I don't know.
Okay,
it could have gone both ways.
Yeah,
used Dorinda.
it could have gone. I don't even know, but I thought it was kind of funny, even though she looks like Shannon Doherty. What I didn't like about her is that Elise, like, don't come on here judging everyone. Obviously, you've been around the women for 20 years. Like, you've seen the show, obviously. You know they're known for the drinking and the antics. I didn't appreciate her coming up to judge. And I like that Dorinda was like, why are you judging? And then here comes a psychologist, Ramona. She's like, I'm not trying to deal from this, both of you. And Luann did it again on the deck. She was like, Ramona, I'm not going to do this with you. I'm not going to let you like annihilate her when you shut your pants in Cartagena last year. You know, but they did have a point. We've all waken up with that guilt and fear from alcohol the next morning. And it's horrible. You're like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? Ramona's like, it's called a blackout. And I blacked it out. I do want to say, I did think maybe just a tiny of it was embellished because there was just some perfect moments when she was drinking the martini glass and she just chucks it. I was dying. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. But I just think that these girls have no room to talk. We've all been there, and they have definitely been there. Final thoughts, Team Ramona or Team Leah? Because this does continue into the next episode. So we're going to talk about this a lot. And let me just say, I'm the ravioli that gets thrown at Ramona next episode. I've decided that. RHONY, let's start with you, boo.
Geez, that's a tough one, Liam. This is why you do this show, because you know how to, God. If it's going on this episode, the part that Ramona has to take accountability for is that she has to not say yes, even though she was in a weird situation. You don't walk it back. That part, that part I can't argue that. If we're going off next episode, like, this is my problem with Leah touching Ramona's hair. The same thing we saw with Candace over on Housewives of Potomac, waving the knife. You wave the knife one season, it keeps excelling. And by the way, this show, when I fell in love with this show, was when Jill Zarin said, I run with a fabulous circle of people. So I still understand the show evolved, but I still want it to be a bit fabulous. So my thoughts are, Leah, if this is what you're bringing to the table, that's great. But throw it on like Basketball Wives or something like that, which I also love. So that's my only thought. I would have to go, with all that being said, this episode I'll give to Leah because it wasn't, she didn't break the bank, it wasn't that bad, but damn, next week I'll tell you, I'm probably not going to be as much into it because I'm not for you being a 37-year-old throwing ravioli at your elder. I don't like that, you guys. I really, really don't.
I can't. I gotta jump in because, like, first of all, I'm Team Leah in this instance. And the fabulous circle, RHONY, it's like we look at these women the past several years, there has been nothing fabulous about them. Pooping in a hallway, wearing diapers on an airplane, falling in bushes, like making out topless with one another. Like, there's nothing classy that these women have been doing the last several seasons. And Leah coming in and having a good ass time amongst each other, mind you, in a private space, when just 2 weeks ago, Sonja was in someone else's mansion saying she doesn't shave her pussy out loud in front of a group of people, like, and touching a random man's belly. Like, it's like, we can't hold Leah to this high standard of class when these women have been doing so many trashy things over the span of the last
think RHONY is saying,
seasons.
don't get physical. Don't touch my head. Don't rip something off my head. I think that's what RHONY's saying. Like, there's a line, right?
But then we also have Dorinda jumping up at people and attacking women.
That's a good, that point is a good point, Chelsea. Yeah. And I guess, I'm glad Leah did mention that. It's really like, let's have a sloppy, goofy show. I could understand why you would say the hypocrisy of the different ladies. But because I remember, and this is obviously a different franchise, I remember when Candace did the knife, it's no surprise that the next season she gets dragged. She said all season, drag me. Leah's not doing that. I'm not saying that. But I worry about, give me a good read. Give me a goofy drunk in a pool kind of a thing. But don't, I don't know.
What did you think about this? Are you Team Ramona or Team Leah?
I mean, I have to be Team Leah. I think that we wouldn't have gotten, the show we got from Leah without Ramona. I'll say that. And I don't want to speak for next episode yet because we don't know why she throws it. We don't know what happens. So can't go there. But yeah. And then also, I just want to say the next day, Leah took complete responsibility. The girl didn't even remember what she did. And she was crying and apologizing And Ramona let her. I was just that was gross. I was just like, that's so mean. And I think Leah has a sweet heart because she always does say, I'm sorry. She takes accountability for her actions, but the girl likes to have fun, and she did. So this episode, I have to, Team Leah.
Well, it was going crazy on Twitter, as you guys saw everything. I was going crazy on my Instagram. Chelsea, I know you have some news for us, so let's get into that. Some real-time drama that's happening.
Real-time drama. So last night, Ramona was watching the show with her daughter, Avery. Avery's 25 years old. And as she was watching, she was recording the scenes of Leah being, a drunk disaster and saying how embarrassing she was. Like, Mom, I can't believe this is your friend. Like, how can you be friends with people like this? Like, I'm so embarrassed for you. Saying all these really nasty things. And as I'm reading this and watching these stories, I'm like, did Avery miss the last several seasons of her mom being extremely thirsty and groping men, or, pooping in Cartagena, or doing a whole lot of turtle time on a Hooters boat? Like, maybe she didn't see it. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But Leah totally got upset with it, understandably so, and kind of went in on Avery and said she's fair game because she's a 25-year-old and she's closer to my age than I am to yours, Ramona.
And she's jumping in. Girl, you're gonna get it too.
Inserting herself into the drama. So they had Leah had a little bit of a back and forth with Ramona that she Instagram stories, and Dorinda also seems to be having issues with Ramona in real time, commenting some shady stuff on her captions, about her wearing a mask because she hasn't been wearing one before, and saying a lot of ugly things to her.
Finally wearing one for Instagram.
Yeah, so it seems like Dorinda and Leah are in a bad spot with Ramona in real time. So that's kind of been interesting to watch on social media.
What I have to say to Avery is like, girl, don't even go there, okay? Don't even go there, because if Bravo doesn't do it, I will make a freaking montage of Ramona. And it doesn't have to do with her being blackout drunk. Like, oh yeah, maybe she's never fallen down. Maybe she hasn't been slurring her head, blah, 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 making a speech like Dorinda. But girl, she's had plenty of cringy moments, and they have nothing to do with alcohol. It's more personality and her heart,
she is,
which is not that goal.
The way she talks to staff, the way she ditches her friends. There's a lot of cringy things Ramona has done. So yeah, I wouldn't compare.
Thoughts before we wrap up. Chelsea, let's start with you.
I'm looking forward to a nice ravioli toss. I think it's going to be fabulous. I would like one thrown in my face, try to get in my mouth. So I'm looking forward to next week, seeing how that evolves. I did think the last scene of them at that bar when they're drinking the Bloody Marys, Ramona was being very mean girlish, blocking Leah and Tinsley out of the conversation. So I don't know. I think that my tide and opinion of Ramona has changed this episode, because previously this season I was kind of on her side. And even last week, I know we didn't talk about it, but I was on her side in her apartment. And now I kind of am just like, come on, Ramona, get it together. Don't be so mean.
Ronnie, final thoughts. And do we need Elise? Do we need her?
Sure. Need is a strong word. I don't mind her, but I don't think we need her. And final thoughts are, this is what makes a really good show, that you can like Ramona one episode, not like her the next. I think all the ladies were generally okay. It's a show. As long as no one gets hurt, I have no problem with them dealing with their stuff, and it's fun to watch, and we need to watch it, and we need to just be chill and not get wrapped up. Like, I would never go on Twitter and badger any of these ladies. Like, it's not that big of a deal. The only housewife I don't like is Nene Leakes, so there you go.
Allie, what did you think about these final thoughts before we wrap up? Quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I also appreciate the show because every episode there is someone new on my favorite list and my least favorite list. Last week was also, like Chelsea, I was on Ramona's side. This week, not so much. But next week, I'm excited to see if Leah's sister shows up and more of the drama between her and Ramona.
Yeah. Chelsea, I don't know if you saw this, but Leah's sister actually jumped in and she said, like, I'm glad that it took 10 martinis for you to show your love for me. Like, it was the sweetest thing anyone's ever done for me. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'll have more on this and the more details that comes out in the next couple of days, because obviously when the show wraps, stuff starts trickling out. So I will have everything on It's Bravo Bitch this Wednesday. Make sure to check it out. We're going to be covering a lot of Bravo things. So make sure to check it out. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast One, everything. At Hollywood Leann. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. None of you guys have been doing that. And it's pissing me off.
I watched this week. It was a great episode. It was a really, really good episode. You guys knocked it out.
Ronnie, where can we find you? What do you want to promote?
I just want to promote you guys. I want to show love today. It's been a really interesting week. I mean, to think. Anyways, no conversation about that. I just want to promote each and every one of you. You got from Bree to Steven to Ryan, our engineer. I think that we do this show and there's so much tensity sometimes, but I got so much love for this crew and this is such a good time. And I just want to promote love to Allie, promote love to Chelsea, promote love to Leann, and let's enjoy the show together.
Aw. Chelsea, where can we find you? What do you want to promote?
Well, I do want to acknowledge everything that's been going on in this country the last couple of days. I feel like we have this platform for a reason. So I would love to send my love and my thoughts to George Floyd and his family, as well as all the people in Minneapolis who are fighting for justice. It's been we do the show for escapism and we're really grateful for that. So, I just want to throw that out there. Y'all could find me on Instagram at C_S_Jones. And on my website, chelseastarkjones.com.
Well said. Beautiful. Allie, where can we find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Alexander James on Instagram.
Yes, follow her. She has a very cute Instagram. George Floyd, we love you and we stand by you. We're going to get through this, you guys. We'll see you next week. Hang in there. Let's be nice to each other. I think this is a great idea, Ronnie. Like, let's love each other. It's too much. It's too much. And I really can't take it. Let's leave it there. We love you guys and we'll see you next time.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.